On the news this morning, APC Zone Senate Presidency to South. One party 10th Assembly in River State draws concerns. Students of Captain Ilichi Amadi Polytechnic Port Harcourt protest. Residents rally support for victims of fire outbreak in Port Harcourt. Pre-hearing of petitions to Presidential Election Tribunal to continue today. On the foreign scene, thousands of Serbs protest against gun violence. I am Kala Dakuru Batuba. Good morning. Peace is the path to the prosperity of a nation. Let peace reign. The APC National Working Committee has announced the zoning of National Assembly leadership positions. A statement by APC National Publicity Secretary Felix Moka zoned the Senate presidency to the South and named Senator Gospel Akpabio of Akwa Ibom State as the candidate. The Deputy Senate President was zoned to the Northwest with Senator Barao Jubrin of Kano State emerging as the party's choice. For the Speaker of the House of Representatives, the party zoned it to the Northwest with Abbas Tajuddin of Kaduna State named as the party's choice. The Deputy Speaker was zoned to the Southeast and Ben Kalu of Abia State was being named as the APC's preferred candidate. The statement said these endorsements were done after consultation with the President-elect Bola Tinubu. In another development, APC chieftain Antonio Okocha has faulted a comment by the APC governorship candidate in River State, Onyeko, that the 2-day working visit by the President-elect Bola Tinubu was a private visit. Recall that Mr. Cole on the live television program last week alleged that Governor Nyesom Wike excluded APC members in the state during the visit of the president-elect. But at a media briefing in Port Harcourt, Mr. Okocha, who insists he is the leader of the APC in River State, said members of the APC were informed of the visit and they participated in the 2-day event.
It was a state visit, and we all saw it that it was what? A state visit. Everything that happened, including the banquet. Banquet is a state activity. It was not in Governor Wike's residence. So for Tony Cole to have said that the visit of the president-elect was private was a blatant lie, and we must note that. The other point I heard he raised was the fact that the party, APC, was not invited. I think he hinged that his argument on that it was a private visit on the fact that APC River State was not invited. The answer is no. It's very, very wrong. The APC in River State was not only informed, we were members of the planning committee.
Mr. Okocha also said the former Minister of Transportation Chibike Amechi, and APC governorship candidate Onyeko worked against the interest of the president-elect in the February 25 presidential election in River State and can't seek recognition from the president-elect. He said the victory of the president-elect in River State was made possible through the support of Governor Nyesom Wike.
The whole essence of this long narrative is to make the world know and let people know here that Toyeko did not invest a farthing, yet he was a candidate. And you also saw that he strolled in there and picked up his flag, said that I said, let him come for a debate. My own, I'm going to show receipts. The program was done by us, the stage. So where did they come in? 2 days to the election. Their leader, right when I wrote to Chibike Amechi, who refused to be appeased by Bola Ahmed Tinubu, convened a meeting of his cronies, the lives of Andrew General. That meeting announced that people should vote for the 3 of us. So with the strength that we had, added with that of the governor and his PDP family, APC won the election in River State.
Correspondent Emeka Otuka reports that Mr. Okocha, while reacting to the viral video between Senator Magnus Abbey and the president-elect at the Port Harcourt International Airport, said Senator Abbey was one of the allies of the president-elect but left because he did not believe in win.
You also agree with me that it was also Magnus himself who, upon sitting on the national television, said that in that their committee that they didn't factor in River State and said that Tinubu was going to win. And for me, it could have been the reason why he decided to abandon ship halfway. And the question I have always asked, which none of them have been able to prove to the contrary, is at the point my dear friend became a member of SDP and became a candidate of SDP, was there any forum or fora where he mentioned Tinubu for president? The answer is what? No.
Meanwhile, when President-elect Bola Tinubu told Governor Nyesom Wike to lobby him if he wanted the refund for building flyovers and federal roads in the state, he may not have thought that his comment could reignite a heated debate on lobbying that has been ongoing for decades. Recall that during the visit of the president-elect to Rivers State last week for the inauguration of Rumukuta Rumola flyover, Governor Wike requested the incoming administration to consider a possible refund to Rivers State, a request the president-elect jokingly advised the governor to come and lobby him if he wants to get his refund for the flyovers. Mr. Tinubu later explained his response, stating that he cannot commit himself to anything when his tenure has not started. Lobbying, the practice by which individuals or organizations attempt to influence policymakers, is widespread in many nations, including Nigeria. But Okeke Anya of the Civil Society Legislative Advocacy Center, CISLAC, which is the Nigerian chapter of Transparency International, tells our correspondent that lobbying in Nigeria needs to evolve, renewing calls for lobbying to be regulated in Nigeria as it is done in the United States.
To have a legal system, people can now know the processes to follow and move away from the issue of bribery. And at the end of the day, whatever thing you are doing in terms of lobbying, it has to be transparent. People know what you are doing. Legislators themselves, any inducement beyond what is expected in the law, it becomes a criminal act.
Mr. Aya further spoke on the need to institutionalize lobbying in a country like Nigeria, which has bribery and corruption at the center of its challenges.
Bribery is bribery. That is why, for instance, when you have companies that are registered to do lobbying, it is still a very, very transparent process to say that this is what we are giving for what we want you to do. And most basically, because it is a formal and registered institution, you find out that people are open. When you are trying to circumvent anything through underhand dealing, you don't give openly. So when you are doing those things in a clandestine manner, it has moved away from that official way of trying to engage. Lobbying is about engaging government to say that this is what we want and this is what we are ready to give.
There are barely any laws in Nigeria that regulate lobbying activities. This creates significant obstacles to establishing a clear connection between lobbying and politics in Nigeria. In 2016, the bill for an act for the regulation and registration of lobbyists in Nigeria and for other matters was debated in the Senate. The bill passed the second reading on October 12, 2016. Nothing has been ahead of it since. If enacted, the law would regulate and, in fact, for the first time in Nigeria, define lobbying. Moving on. As the inauguration of the 10th House of Assembly in Rivers State draws near, political analysts have been speaking about the benefits and drawbacks of having a State House of Assembly without a minority in the state. As you may know, the incoming Rivers State House of Assembly, when inaugurated, will have 32 lawmakers who won their elections on the platform of the PDP. Speaking on this, an analyst, Dentia Ari, tells correspondent Sebi Uruwari that the absence of a minority in a State House of Assembly will mean that the voice of the minority in society will further be suppressed.
On the other hand, we have diverse political parties think that there will be variation in their views if the candidates in the parliament are different. They will not kowtow to the decision of one or the government to the leadership of the legislature. They will also make their point known. This interest ordinarily supposed to be the interest of their constituent, not their individual interest. In our kind of democracy, where the representative is a trustee rather than a delegate.
Mr. Ari, who is also a lecturer at the Captain Ilichi Amadi Polytechnic, however, said a one-party legislature could lead to effective synergy between the legislature and the executive arms of the government.
In any case, the good side of it is that there will be quote-unquote peace in the state, the peace of the graveyard, in that there will be no crisis in governance, because whatever the executive will present, the legislature will concur, and seamless the processes will be going on. But then it has implications. It will enhance or expedite decision making. Nobody will question whatever decision the governor wants to, whatever he wants, they will approve for him. That is what we will experience, irrespective of what the people feel. But that is how it will be.
From that, some students of Captain Ilichi Amadi Polytechnic, Port Harcourt, protested yesterday. The protesters were HND 1 students of the Public Administration Department. President of the Student Union Government, Briggs Ipalibo, told correspondent Martha Okere that the protest was because of a policy by JAM that prevents students from changing the department they were in during their national diploma to another department when they return to continue their studies for HND.
A student from Pop Admin HND1, they are coming from biz admin. They are transferred to Pop Admin HND1. Now, there is a new policy from JAM and NYS. If you are in Pop Admin HND1, you must be in Pop Admin and finish. If you are in biz admin, you have to finish from biz admin, or you will not be allowed to go to service. Their issue is that they have paid school fees and everything. They were not informed. But everything is not about protest. You have to go back to their protest is that they should be assured that they will have a favorable answer from the school management. I'm still relating with the school management system. They will have a favorable answer from the school management.
Mr. Ipalibo said the student union government is already in talks with the management of Captain Elechi Amadi Polytechnic Port Harcourt to resolve the issue. Earlier, one of the protesters spoke in an online video.
Don't they write our exam? School give us admission. We buy form. We do screening. School give us admission. We don't pay our acceptance fee. We don't accept the admission finish. We don't pay everything, pay school fees. Today we dey write exam. Management come tell us say tomorrow we don't come school, come write the remaining exam again. As it stands now, say maybe we go home. Say no school for us. Say people away from business admin. Maybe they no come school again.
The management of Captain Elechi Amadi Polytechnic Port Harcourt has yet to speak in this. Still ahead, pre-hearing of petitions at Presidential Election Tribunal to continue today. Stay tuned as we go for a commercial break.
You are
Thank you for staying tuned. Welcome back. About 2 months after a taxi driver, Simeon Iwurulam, died following an altercation with an official of the River State Tax Force Port Harcourt, both families have met to resolve the issue. The Executive Director of the Human Rights, Social Development and Environmental Foundation, Justin Ijama, tells correspondent Oyekachi Wosu that the meeting was held at the Criminal Investigation Department at the instance of the family of the tax force official. Mr. Ijama said if the meeting fails to yield any positive result, they will seek alternative ways to get justice.
Last week Friday, the family met with the suspect family at KCID. The family of the suspect requested for the meeting, and we were invited at in respect to that. There are windows for discussion. Then maybe if it didn't work out, then other actions may come in.
Mr. Ijama also criticized the River State government for failing to respond to the organization's letter demanding justice for the family of the late taxi driver.
We haven't got any response from the governor. Since then we wrote that letter. Neither any communication from him or the chief of staff or any of the government official. We have not got any response from both of them up to this moment. If an institution instituted by him, he established them and
Recall that 52-year-old Simeon Iwurulam, a father of 5 children from Awomama in Imo State, plied the Rumokoro Rupoku Igruta axis in Port Harcourt as a commercial driver until his death. On March 12, according to his fellow drivers, the task force official assaulted him following an argument. He died in hospital the next day, sparking a protest by other taxi drivers who called for justice and a stop to extortion and harassment by the Rivers State Task Force. The leadership of the task force has remained silent on the issue ever since, even though its officials were taken off the road. Some residents of Port Harcourt are now contributing relief items for the victims of the fire that gutted a building at number 7 Market Lane, Rumamasi Axis on Sunday night. Speaking of the incident, one of the victims, Angela Ashet, said the fire started in a tenant's bedroom. She said they are yet to ascertain the exact cause of the fire, as the tenant from whose bedroom the fire started is currently in the hospital.
It actually started from our tenant's bedroom. The cylinders are not in the kitchen. They are behind, downstairs. So could it have been a failed jerrycan in the house or what? At the moment, the tenants ran out with her kids, just shouted, fire, fire, fire. Then from the old filling station that isn't working, those malams there, they were shouting fire. They were actually the ones that really escalated the whole thing. And we've not heard from her. She's actually in shock in the hospital and she's not able to talk. We are trying to get information from the house help. What happened? We, the owners of the property, we don't even know how it started. It entered my apartment through the roof and finished everything. My documents from birth certificates to my NYC to all my certifications. So it's all engulfed in the claim. International passport, my traveling documents, all gone.
Ms. Ashet also narrated how she drove to the State Fire Service and was advised to go to the Federal Fire Secretariat.
Fire service. When I got there, the place was deserted. No lights, nothing. I entered, I knocked. I had to open the gate. I entered into the building. I was shouting, can somebody help? I heard a voice from the backyard saying, Madam, nothing is working here. Please don't, nothing is going on here. Go to Federal Secretariat. That's where you get help. So we had to run to Federal Secretariat on Aba Road. It was from there that they told us, okay, fine. They now moved. But by then, our tenants too had called SPDC and Total. So they were the ones that, so by the time I had gotten here, SPDC and Total Fire Service had already landed.
She called on the government to ensure the State Fire Service is functional. Online communities have been coordinating the relief items for the victims. The Rivers State Election Tribunal resumed sitting in Abuja yesterday. The tribunal is divided into 5 panels, with panel 1, 2, 3 and 4 slated to hear the petitions challenging the National Assembly and House of Representatives elections. The governorship elections panel stands alone to hear all the petitions from the various political parties that participated in the just concluded governorship election in Rivers State. The governorship election petition panel has 12 petitions filed. Recall that the tribunal was relocated to Abuja due to insecurity in the state. The presidential election petition tribunal in Abuja will continue today after it started yesterday. Today's proceedings will include the petitions of the PDP presidential candidate Atiku Abubakar and the Allied People's Movement. The pre-hearing proceedings for the petition of the Labour Party, its presidential candidate Peter Obi, and that of the Action People's Party APP will be held on Wednesday. Yesterday, a group of protesters stormed the appeal court in Abuja, asking the Presidential Election Petitions Tribunal to stop the inauguration of the President-elect Bola Tinubu. The protesters, who would not give specific names for the groups but say they are a coalition of civil societies, urged the court to stop the inauguration. They said there are still several pending issues involving the APC candidate. After a brief moment of congregating outside the Court of Appeal building, security operatives dispersed the protesters.
And now, we'll bring you news from around the world.
Tens of thousands of Serbs have joined protests against gun violence in the capital Belgrade and another city after 2 mass shootings last week. Now on the news this morning, you heard APC has zoned the Senate presidency to the South-South. The incoming one-party 10th Assembly in Rivers State is drawing concerns. Students of Captain Ilichi Amadi Polytechnic Port Harcourt protested yesterday. Port Harcourt residents are contributing relief items for the victims of Sunday's fire outbreak in the city. The pre-hearing of petitions at the Presidential Election Tribunal is continuing today. On the foreign scene, thousands of Serbs are protesting against gun violence. The news was edited by Choma Izewanfo. Mostly cloudy weather expected in Port Harcourt this morning. Peace is the path to the prosperity of a nation. Let peace reign. I am Kalada Kurubatuba. Good morning. Stay tuned.